Imagine this. You're back from a trip to Greece and Croatia. You spent weeks relaxing, eating great food, and barely checking your email. While you were there, your bank account grew. Not because you have a fancy tech startup and not because you're a crypto genius. It grew because you own a boring metal boxes sitting on a dirt lot in a town you barely visit. Bree Hartman used to be a personal trainer. She spent her days trading hours for dollars, dealing with employees and overhead. She wanted out. She wanted a business that didn't need her to survive. She found it in self-storage. I'm Ryan Atkinson, and you're listening to UpFlip podcast, where we uncover the secrets of building and running successful businesses. Today, Bree Hartman is here to break down exactly why storage beats residential real estate, how you can get started in storage, and how you can find a deal in a boring town. So, Bree, thank you so much for being here today. So excited to have you on. I love the storage concept, so thank you so much for being here.
I'm so excited. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It's going to be so good. First two questions before we get going, just to paint for the audience what you do. Number one, what do you do?
Yeah. So I was like, I'm a self-storage owner and investor. And so I actually buy self-storages facilities like throughout the whole US. So we own right now about 100,000 square feet of self-storage in Louisiana and then South Carolina and then Washington. And so never in my life thought I'd be a self-storage owner, but the whole concept of no toilets, no tenants, no employees, less issues, more cash flow was really something that was like, okay, I could do this and have a family life. And that was something that really meant, a lot to me.
I like it. And then tell us, what do you typically do in revenue for like a storage unit? Paint us like a high level picture, because I want to speak to the audience here that, okay, I'm interested. What am I actually get from this? Paint us a picture of a facility or something then.
Yeah, yeah. So, there's two different, you can have a smaller facility, which one of our facilities around is 83 units, and then another facility is around 400 units. And so we've got our one that's about, 60,000 square feet. So we make about $41,000 gross in revenue each month. So times that by 12. So we're around, 492,000 a year in that facility. And then we have, and the best part about this is that our expense ratio in storage, because we rent space, is 35%. In a smaller facility, just so that you guys have context of this, really great starter facilities are around 10,000 square feet, 83 units. And then we make about $8,000 gross in revenue a month in that one.
Super, super good. And we're going to talk about how our listeners can do the same as you here. But how did you get into self storage? I mean, you were owning a business. How did you make that transition to self storage? Why did you want to take a transition? Give us that backstory as well.
The big thing is coming into self-storage. I had one accidental rental. I was like, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to, get a residential rental in California, and that's going to be my portfolio. And I get to live, this cash-free freedom lifestyle. And really quickly, I learned that there was toilets, there was mildew and service dogs. And then you're all praying to hope that you get $400 of cash flow, if that even, right? If nothing breaks. And so I think just being, in my late 30s and, getting pregnant and being like, how do I envision my life? And so that's really how I found storage on actually a podcast. And they said, no toilets, no tenants, no employees, less issues. And I was like, yes. I was like, sign me up, from personal training and gym ownership to, a business that actually you can actually literally remotely manage from like the seat of your home, right? So the goal is to own, 15 to 20 of these self-storage facilities that cash flow each month with a boots on the ground and a call center and now AI that's coming into it. So very much less problems and cash flow still flowing, into your bank account.
That's what I always hear the problem with the real estate is. Real estate's great, but like the cash flow's probably not great. But it sounds like you found the opportunity of self storage and the cash flow is much better.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I self-storage, and that's the big thing is it's a business, it's commercial real estate, and it's a business. So you get the best of both worlds. Like a lot of people come to me and they're like laundry mats and they talk about these boring businesses or like hotels. And I'm like, yeah, but there's a lot of things that you guys have. There's a lot of turnover that you have to do, cleaning. And then actually in laundry mats, you don't own the property. So in self-storage, which is very unique, is that you actually own the property, it's commercial real estate, and you own that business. So you get the best of both worlds in that regard.
That is amazing. Okay, so you identify this opportunity, like, okay, like no toilets, no tenants. I love that saying right there. What do you do next, and what you know now? How would you advise someone to get started in this space, in the self-storage space?
So I guess I think after buying like our fourth storage facility, people just kept coming to me and they're like, "Hey Bree, like, can I use your deal analyzer? Like, how are you getting these seller financing deals?" And so, we actually opened up the self-storage school, which is like one of a kind. So we actually help people fund and operate their first storage facility in less than 6 to 12 months with like no prior experience. But I think the biggest thing when I, see someone that's like, "Hey, I want to buy storage." Like I hear this all the time. I get DMs, I get calls. "Bree, I've been wanting to buy storage for years. Like I spend $210 a month." And then they don't do anything about it, right? But the biggest thing to do is it's really like looking at where you live and it's figuring out a market, right? So we don't want to be in big metropolitan areas. We want to be in like these rural areas that are third or fourth tier markets that might have a population of like 5,000 to maybe 120,000 people. Then
Wow.
those are mom and pop. Those are true mom and pop. And there's about 68% of mom and pop owners are still self storage and they have no website. They have like no marketing plan and they literally run their business from a yellow piece of paper. And so it's wild. Like literally in 2025, you would think that they had to go through COVID. They had to get a website. But a lot of these mom and pops still like have no website and are doing it like the old fashioned way.
Are you going after those like do whatever tier 3, tier 4 markets of that population size because they are mom and pop and then you're buying those out? Or talk to us a little bit more about that.
The biggest thing is like we want to find, value add storage facilities that are mom and pop that are not sophisticated. So we don't want to compete with like CubeSmart or public, storage. And so those are the ones that we are on the outskirts. And so big metropolitan areas, everyone's like, "Oh, I see, an extra space on every single corner." I'm like, "Yeah, but you're not looking in these like secret markets, right?" So a lot of these are the mom and pop. I have two students right now buying a mom and pop business. Literally, they've owned it for 15 years. On a yellow pad piece of paper is how they've done their unit mix. Every piece of paper is 1 month, right? And so they have a cash box. So every month the tenants come and they put their cash in that box. And that's how they run this business. And so they're buying this great opportunity, right? So now you're buying this opportunity. They've never increased prices in over like 10 years. And then number two, they get to come and put a tech stack. And then their tenants are like, "Wow, that's so much easier." Because everything gets to be automated and it just becomes a subscription based business. And that's what's so simple is a lot of people don't understand is self storage is a very simple business. Like we are in the business to rent space. Like think about it, it's so crazy. We rent space with a cinder block building, a concrete floor, and a roll up door and no lights. And that's it. That's why it's 35% expense ratio, right? There is very little problems. And so that's something that's really important to people to know and they get sticky. Like Amazon delivers every 2 days to my house. People in America love stuff and they're going to continually collect stuff. And so their easy button is to go to their nearest storage facility to go put all their holiday, decorations and all their, things that are collectibles in storage. And then they're going to continue to pay $210 every single month for years, like years. We've got a guy 12 years that's rented from us. Isn't that wild?
That it's insane. A question that comes to mind. So I grew up in a town of like 7,500 or so. So like it's a small town. And these smaller populations are like people actually renting these out. Like give us that. Like what is a typical occupancy rate in like a smaller, like less than 20,000 person town?
Yeah, no, and this is very interesting. So I would say, like, even the one that my students are buying, they're buying actually a $2 million storage facility right now in Texas, and it's 100% full. And the reason
Wow.
why we drool when we hear that in business, if you're in business, if you are 100% full, you have no product to sell. And so that's bad. That's real bad. So that's a great thing for us as a buyer, but we never want to be 100% full. And once we hit our like 92% in our storage facilities, we're like, wow, we need to increase prices. And that's something that's really beautiful about storage is that it's not a year lease, it's month to month. And so every month we hold a 7-Eleven. At month 7, you increase rates by 6 to 8%. At month 11, you also increase rates. And so you're constantly increasing the price, forcing appreciation of that storage facility. So the goal is, right, you buy it for $2 million. And now in the matter of 3 to 5 years, you force that appreciation over to 3.8 million. And so that is what's so special about commercial real estate is that you've got a 3 to 5 year period and that you're increasing your cash flow every single month, every single year. So now your purchase price to go to sell is 3.8 million. So would you do that deal? If you bought a facility for 2 million, like my students are doing, and they're going to push it to 3.8, that's incredible. That will change people's life. Like, one facility can change people's life.
Are you ready to launch, grow, and scale a business? Inside the UpFlip Academy, you'll get a complete roadmap to shortcut your success with 25 plus step-by-step programs taught by active business owners, not gurus, who share their step-by-step blueprints, plus ongoing live workshops, skills training, a business idea database, and community to share resources and celebrate your wins. Click the link in the description below to join the UpFlip Academy today and start surrounding yourself with the people and tools that can change everything for your business.
Yeah. So what is that goal of like occupancy rate? Because what I heard there is like you have to increase prices to not have 100% occupancy. And I 100% agree with that. So I do want to say that. But like, what is your goal of like an occupancy rate? Is it like 75%? I generally don't know it, but I want the listeners to know.
I love this because it's very fascinating. The goal, is of course to be like at your 90%, 85 to 90 is like the nice sweet spot. But it's less about occupancy. It's more about the cash flow that's actually influxed in the storage facility. And so a lot of people, you might be physically occupied. So there's two terms of physical occupancy and economic. So physically means you might have stuff in there, but people aren't paying. And so you have to make sure people are paying and then they're also being increased in price over time. So there's a lot of, you look at it just like you're going to go get a hotel or a plane, air ticket, you can actually increase your prices based on demand. And so as soon as you hit a certain caliber, your prices increase. Or hey, but if it's closest to the entrance, those are also premier units. So you can actually have that as an increase. So there's a lot of opportunity to play with revenue versus just occupancy.
That's really good. I'm curious, what is like the multiple in this industry? You have students that are about to buy it for like 2 million. What is that like currently doing? Right? Obviously, this varies depending where you're at, but like, what is a typical multiple in storage units?
And it's funny. So we actually don't go by multiple because I know it's commercial real estate, but and that's businesses like they go based on the multiple because they don't own the real estate. But because storage is real estate and business, they actually go by a cap rate. And so that is a completely different based on the market. And so what's fascinating with a cap rate is like, and that's why you can force appreciation is it's your net operating income, divided by your cap rate gives you your purchase price of that facility. So it's NOI, net operating income, divided by the cap rate of that market can give you. And so just like a comp in residential, cap rates really help commercial real estate brokers understand the value really fast. And so we don't only go on cap rates, but we also like look at it a little bit different from like a normal, multiple of a business.
This has been really actual so far, and I want to keep that similar thread here. So, Bree, obviously, I've asked some questions. I don't know anything about self storage, so I'm happy to have you on here. Take me as like a novice that's like, okay, I'm going to go like identify a market. I've heard the population, mom and pop. What are step, 3, 4, or 5 to like identify the good markets? I want the listeners to like really take notes on this because like this is how you're going to go identify your opportunity. So, kind of give me step 3, 4, or 5, or whatever that is.
I think if I was going to talk about markets, I call it the market rule of fives. And so we're really looking for the market rule of fives is okay, hey, where is the population of 5,000 all the way up to 120,000 people? So we're looking in third, fourth tier markets. And then number two is we don't want to compete with REITs. So we don't want CubeSmart, Extra Space, Life Storage. We want to be on the outskirts. And then the third thing is we want to make sure we have also the growth, the population is growing, right? At least by 0.01%, just a little bit. And that doesn't mean, set in stone, but it's also like, hey, if we're going to own this for 3 to 5 years, movement and storage is actually really helpful for its success. So making sure you invest in a business where a population isn't declining. So where are data centers being put in? Where are military bases? Where are like colleges? Like these are things that people use storage and it's insane, right? And then the fourth thing that I kind of like to look at is medium household income. So that's something that's important. And the reason why we like to look at it, anything over, about a medium household income of 50,000 is helpful because that shows that they can actually pay their bills, right? And that's just pretty much like, if you've got like extreme poverty, and I've seen a lot of colleagues buy storage facilities in like Mississippi and bad markets of Mississippi, right? Or, where they're 35,000 and so they just can't afford it. And so that actually becomes a harder way of owning storage, right? Because then you're chasing people and that's not the goal in storage. The goal in storage is to have reoccurring income on a subscription based business. So that is really important as well. And then the fifth part is just like your crime rate, right? Like your crime rate, making sure that you're in a good area that isn't going to be broken into over and over again. So those are, I would say, the 5 things that I look for, just like from like a market rule of fives to pick a good market. And then we obviously want to look at supply and demand, like how much storage is in a 5-mile radius. And that's important based on a supply and demand index of, just how much demand and storage. But I think a big piece to this is I want to walk you guys as a podcast like through this. And so how I teach my students is actually you can go on Google Maps. Google Maps, it's free. Go to the Googles, right? All the millennials, everyone, right? Is like, how do you rent online? And it's going to Google Maps, putting in, hey, self storage, finding your local self storage facility. You literally click it, opens up the website. On the website, find actually ours has a chat bot now that says, hey, well, what unit size do you need? And so you can actually put in the unit size and then you pay for it. As soon as you pay for it, this is how easy it gets to be, is that it will send you a lease that you sign on your phone. And you also upload your driver's license and immediately 2 workflows happen. You get a text, to your phone with your gate code. And then you also get a text and an email with your personalized digital lock. And so as soon as you drive up to that storage facility, you put in your code, then you could drive to that unit and you put in that code. You literally open it up, you put your stuff in, you take our lock off, you drop it off, and then you put your lock on, and no one has had to help you the whole entire time. And if you do need help, right, there's QR codes along the whole entire premise with a call center. But I just wanted to show your listeners that, like, we really don't need anyone there. We had no employees. Like, we don't need someone there to walk them through this process. Of course, we have someone they can make appointments with, but it's a very easy process to move in and move out. And people want immediacy. Like, they don't want to necessarily always talk to people like Amazon. They want it dropped off at their house and they want to pick it up and they want to go about their lifestyle. And so that is what I think storage is going to be. It's only becoming better and better every single year with like higher revenue streams and more storage facilities, but people's need of storage and businesses using storage, into the future.
That's a really nice breakdown there. And I always love like interviewing like, people that are in like the boring businesses. Obviously, you know that term, but you're just applying tech to it to make it super easy. Everyone's so much more happy. And that's like when the reoccurring like revenue like really hits.
It's so cool. And then think about it. So in AI too, like we're having AI step in. And so we're using AI in our call centers and our sales calls to monitor customer service and making sure that the customers are being taken care of. And so every month, if you're a good business owner, the 2 things that you need to be doing is making sure that, your boots on the ground and your people and your employees are doing well as a leader. But number, 2 is like, your revenue must be going up always. And then you must be decreasing your expenses. And so as a business owner, I feel very grateful and blessed to have AI come in because we get to use it to our advantage to decrease expenses, especially in a boring business where we actually get to utilize that more than a McDonald's or a franchise or a hotel, right? So that's something, we're really looking at and making sure, right, that you still do it with the customer in mind, so that's important too.
Super important. Okay, so we've talked about how to like find it in like a good market, a little bit about like the workflow and like tech right there that we just hit on. Okay, you identify like a storage facility. Are you just cold calling them saying, "Hey, I want to buy your storage facility. Give it to me. I'm going to pay you." Like, what? Obviously, you're not
Yeah.
doing that, but
No, I do.
what do you do? Yeah, okay, maybe you are. Okay, so yeah, what are you doing?
Actually, I teach my storage school students, like, we have a whole virtual assistant team and acquisition manager, and we give our storage school students off-market storage deals into the pipeline we get 3 to 5 every single day, Monday through Friday, so that they get first opportunity and stab at that. But what's beautiful about this is that you can call owners. And so I show my students on Google Maps, and I actually spend 2 hours cold calling, and they get to watch me. And so
Wow, that's cool.
I call owners all the time, and I just open up Google Maps. I put in self-storage. We have the Google Map pack, all the red dots pop up. I literally click one of them, and I have the facility number, and I'll call the facility number that has no website first. And so when I call them, this is literally what I say to them. It's nothing beautifully special, but it's, hey, Ryan, are you the owner of XYZ Main Street? He's like, yeah, who is this? Right. Oh, hey, my name's Bree. I know this call might just be out of the blue, but my husband and I, we live nearby and we've been looking to buy a facility this year. And I just wanted to see if you would ever consider an offer on your storage facility. Silence. Let him respond. And it's wild because you'll literally hear people say no. And then there's lots of rebuttals, or you'll have someone say, you know what? I've been thinking about selling it forever and I don't want to sell it, with a broker because I take my money. You know what? How about you come over? Like, I literally had a student, he's a firefighter, 45 years old, do this. And now he owns 2 facilities in a matter of an hour from him, all from calling an owner, building a relationship, and saying, "Hey," the guy, he literally on his fifth call, he said, "Oh, yeah, yeah, I'd consider an offer." And he's like, "Oh gosh, what do I do now?" And so I was like, "Go meet him for breakfast and, punch it into the offer calculator and bring him the offer." And that's exactly what he did. He met him for breakfast. He got a facility tour. He built that relationship, and then he's like, "Hey, I'm gonna buy your business." And so and that's the stuff that changes your life is if you bet on yourself and a cold call, you're not like selling Cutco. You're saying, "Hey, I want to buy your business. I'm going to give you money, right? I'm going to give you money. Do you want to listen to me?" And so it's actually we're in a better position, right? We're like, "Hey, I have money. I want to buy your business. And hey, do you want to do the dance?" Right? So I teach it in a mindset way because I think there's two things people are scared of in life. And it's number one, public speaking, doing what we're doing right now, and number two, it's going on a blind date that you have no idea who that person is. And then the third I always say is cold calling.
Cold calling.
It's like cold calling. Yeah, it's cold calling to buy a business. So, anyways, I just wanted to share with you, just some tactical things that you can use to buy a business, and it really does work. And you'd be surprised that one call would make a difference to become a multimillionaire.
That is a great soundbite right there for you. Okay, so you cold call, that's how you find it. And so, how should someone like structure this deal? Slash, like, how should they get the financing for? I'm sure you could talk for another hour about that, but like, best tips of like what you know now and like what listeners could take away.
One big mindset block that keeps people stuck and they don't even go for it is that, oh, storage, you have to have millions of dollars to buy a storage facility. And I want to tell you, like, that's not true. And the reason for this is like there's a lot of creative financing opportunities, which simply just means like, hey, this owner owns the facility outright. I'm going to come in and, hey, Mr. Owner, I'd love to buy your facility. Would you be the bank? And the owner says, yeah, I'll be the bank because now they get interest. They get to accrue interest over time and decrease their taxes and capital gains. And so what's beautiful, we bought an 83 unit facility for $500,000. We put 15% down, $75,000 down. That's it. And so every month we pay him $2,200 a month, literally out of our ACH into his bank account. And so over the time of 7 years, it's a 7-year balloon, he's going to make over $685,000 versus just 500,000. So he's going to make money over time. And guess what? What's beautiful about this is that we make $8,000 gross a month. We pay him 2,200, take 35% of that. Like we're cash flowing $2,000 to $4,000 a month, depending on the month and the season. So for one deal, I bought a house that is $300, $400 a month, if that. This one storage facility for 75K, which is the same amount, is cash flowing $2,000 to $4,000 more. Like think of the difference. And it's not even, I spend 1 to 3 hours a week on this property.
Oh man. So I'm curious, do you have like a percentage of like, okay, if we have $100 in cash flow. I'm doing this for simple numbers. Obviously, it's way more than that. Is it like, okay, 50% is going to go to like maintenance or operations, 50% we're going to take to like ourselves? Like, do you have a specific breakdown for that?
I just want to make this super simple. So in business, you've got your gross revenue that you have come in, so money coming in from different, self-storage revenue mixes. Then you have your business expenses. And so that business expense could be your website, your lawn, your maintenance, your call center. Think of that, 35% of that right there, right? And that gives you your net operating income. And then you minus your debt. So our debt on that facility is 2,200 a month straight to him. And then that gives you your pure cash flow. And so it's very much broken down. And guess what? 35%. Isn't that wild? It's just 35% versus I want to give you a reference. So multifamily is 55%, right? So, and then you've got also boutique hotels, which are 68%. And so there is a lot of why people like storage is because it's a concrete floor and a roll up door. There's not very much there for maintenance. And so it's 35%. Like it's lean. Like it is a lean, mean, machine that obviously you still have to take care of, but it's also a lot more gracious for, I call it any business stupidity. It's a great first business to jump into in commercial real estate because it's so lenient, right? There's no urgency. Like if someone can't get to their stuff for heavens for 24 hours, it's going to be okay versus someone living right there and you have to fix it immediately at 2 a.m. And so I call success. There's two things in success. For me, it's laying my head down at night and not stressing and being able to sleep a good 8 hours of sleep. And then number two, it's being able to have time freedom and being able to remotely manage something. And that is with my 3-year-old daughter, I get to have an easy morning. I get to bring her to daycare or just hang out with her as much as I want because there's no immediacy, right? So that's my two ways. And that's why I picked storage because I get to have the best of both worlds.
Super, super good. Bree, you have been amazing on this podcast so far. I want to dive to like our last question, just advice for someone to get started. Because you've said 95% of people won't close a deal this year because they are, quote, scrolling, not sourcing. What's that one advice to give to someone to actually like take action on something like this?
It's finding a group of community. It's finding people that are actually doing it and that are just 5 steps above you because you are the 5 people that you surround yourself by. And it's honestly very true. And so that was a big thing that I opened up self-storage school was being like, hey, I have tons of deals. I have too many deals where I can't even do them all. And so I wanted people in my community to do deals together as well as do deals with one another and myself. And so it's having a group of people that are actually doing that so that you can avoid the risk and that you just don't know what you don't know. And so that's my goal is like being able to walk people through that. So just find a group of people that actually are authentic and honest and aren't just talking about education. They're actually doing the thing, right? They're taking the urgency, they're doing it, and they're showing you exactly how they do it. And they give you those reins.
Bree, this has been amazing. Let's dive into our fan Blitz questions. So these are questions submitted from our community. Listeners, if you want to join in on world-class conversations, get your answers question on this podcast, email us at podcast@upflip.com and we will get all your questions answered. But be ready for our last 5 questions here.
Yes.
Number 1, what is the number 1 red flag that makes you run away from a deal instantly?
A storage owner won't give me their taxes or financial returns.
That's a good one. What software runs your entire storage empire from your laptop?
We use it's like Easy Storage Solution, which is like a CRM for self-storage and all the accounting. And then another one for acquisitions is we use Go High Level for anything with commercial real estate and acquisitions.
If you had to start over with $5,000 in no credit, what exactly would you do Monday morning?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm doing it for $0. Is I would, if I got dropped off in the middle of a city, I would go to the title agency and I'd have them pull like for maybe $5. Hey, will you pull a list of 100 storage owners? And I'd ask to use their phone for $20 an hour. And I literally would call all 100 of those owners until one said, yeah, I'd consider an offer. I'd go put that facility under contract. And then I would wholesale that facility for, guess what? I've made $100,000 in a few of my wholesale deals. And I use that wholesale money to then go buy my real storage facility that then I can buy and hold forever.
Bree, you're such a hustler. I love that answer.
I'm like, you know what? Let's make money and let's buy and hold too, So yeah.
Bree, you're awesome. That was a phenomenal answer. 2 more for you. What is the biggest lie about passive income that people need to stop believing?
So in storage, people are like, it's a cash cow, all these things. Absolutely. But it's a business too. And you have to treat a business like a business with customer service and systems. So making sure that you know that anything that you're going to run, it's going to have grit as a business owner. And you have to run it like a business and give it that attention, or you're just going to be this absentee owner that normally people buy from. And so I'm very passionate about creating really good systems and also delegating and automating things so that you can have that time freedom that people talk about.
If you could put one message on a billboard for every aspiring entrepreneur, what would it be?
No toilets, no tenants, no employees, less issues. But no, that's just because I love storage. But I would say, gosh, I think it's if you didn't bet on yourself now, what would it feel like? For me, this was one that really pushed me is being able to bet on yourself and know that the skill sets that you learn and the tenacity that you have is only going to reap the benefit of it, right? It's not about success in these certain categories of wealth and net worth. It's like, if I have these skills, I'm going to be able to do X. So I always think about every year, like I know, New Year's is coming up, New Year's, new you, everyone talks about, but it's like, what are the skill sets that I can acquire this year and what have I acquired this past year? And the 2 things that I've specialized in this year was negotiation and sales. And if you can crush negotiation and sales, you'll never go hungry. And it's so true. So think about skill sets, less about the numbers. And I think you will be, worth your weight in gold. And I think you'll be setting yourself free and setting yourself up for success.
Super, super good. I've always said like number 1 skill you can have as an entrepreneur is just be a killer salesperson. Like you'll never go hungry as
Never go hungry ever. And negotiation too, because in the American culture, like we don't negotiate enough. We just take it. We just are like, yeah. So I teaching, my kiddos and some of their friends to go on Facebook Marketplace and to negotiate on Facebook Marketplace for toys that they need. They don't have to buy it new. They can negotiate it, right?
Really good. Super good there. But Bree, this has been amazing. If someone's like, oh my gosh, I need to learn more about Bree, I need to check out her self-storage school, where can they connect with you and do so at?
Absolutely. So if you go to selfstorageschool.com, we actually have our applications open right now. We're at open enrollment right now to take on about 10 storage school students. So definitely, if you are interested in wanting to buy your first storage facility, go over there, apply. You'll book a call with me or one of my business partners, and we'll see if it's a good fit. And then another really good option I wanted to give your listeners, especially for people who want to learn more about like how to find off-market deals and then how to actually analyze a deal. I have this awesome storage offer calculator that I actually walk people through, and you can actually see what a storage facility is worth. So I'd love to give that to you guys to check out. So if you guys do want that, just send me a text message to my business phone number. Just send me a text message with storage to 916-579-7209, and I'll send that over your way.
That was an awesome episode with Bree. I have been waiting to get a self-storage person on here, and she was the person for it. So 3 quick takeaways for you. Why would you do this? Well, no toilets, no tenants, no employees. You can do this remotely. You don't have to have employees. A lot of it can be ran through tech. It's a really good opportunity for that if you're looking for a low friction business. Number 2, finding a market. If you want just population, 5,000 to 125,000. You want to find those tier 3, tier 4 cities. Really good takeaway there to actually identify that. And then number 3, once you do identify your market, give them a cold call. Just say, hey, you're looking to sell. You actually have more power in this because you're offering them money, and potentially a lot of money. And then definitely rewind and hear how to structure that deal. Phenomenal episode with Bree. If you guys are enjoying this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating wherever you listen to us. It helps us get more amazing entrepreneurs like Bree on the show. We will see you next Monday. Bree, you're the absolute best. Thank you so much. This was super actual, super good. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. This is awesome. Thank you.